The highest and most powerful thing of all is the only thing the gods have placed under our control: the ability to interpret and respond to what we experience. Everything else is beyond our power. If you take care of this faculty and treat it as your only true possession, nothing will ever truly hinder you, nothing will stand in your way. You will not complain, you will not blame, and you will not flatter anyone. We must make the best possible use of what is within our power and accept everything else as it naturally unfolds. And what is their nature? Whatever the will of the gods may be. Me in chains? You may fetter my leg, but my will, not even Zeus himself can overpower. I must die. Must I then die lamenting? I must be put in chains. Must I then also lament? I must go into exile. Does any man then hinder me from going with smiles and cheerfulness and contentment? If you see death as the greater misfortune, what a foolish choice you've made. But if you see it as the lesser, then who told you that you had a choice? Wouldn't it be wiser to accept what has been given to you? I must die. If that moment is now, I am ready. If it is later, then for now, I will eat, because it is time for dinner. And when the time comes, I will die, as one who returns what was never truly his. Only the rational being finds the irrational unbearable, but what is rational is always bearable. This is why we need discipline, to learn how to align our understanding of reason and unreason with the natural order of things. For a person who starts debating the worth of external things, it is a short step toward forgetting their own true nature. A bull is not made strong overnight, nor is a brave person. We must train ourselves in the winter so that we are prepared for the battles of summer. We must not rush blindly into things that are not our concern. Think carefully about the price at which you sell your will, if for no other reason than to make sure it's not for too little. If a person truly grasps the idea that we are all children of the divine, that both gods and people share a common source, they would never think so little of themselves. Through this attachment to the flesh, some become like wolves, untrustworthy, deceitful, and harmful. Others turn into lions, fierce and uncontrollable. But the majority of us become foxes, or even worse creatures. The person making real progress understands that desire is for what is good and aversion is for what is bad. With this in mind, they set aside desire for now and use aversion only for what is within their control. Never look for the answer in one place while seeking progress in another. Where is progress then? If a person withdraws their attention from external things and focuses on their own will, training and refining it so that it aligns with nature, strong, free, steady, and trustworthy, then they are truly making progress. To learn how to rid life of complaints and misery, to stop saying poor me and I am so unlucky, to understand what death, exile, imprisonment, and suffering truly are. If a person refuses to accept obvious truths, it is not easy to convince them otherwise. Most of us fear the suffering of the body and do everything we can to avoid it, yet we don't give the same concern to the suffering of the soul. When a person loses the ability to think or understand, we recognize they are in a bad state. But if they lose all sense of shame and modesty, we call that power. For animals, it is enough to eat, drink, sleep, and reproduce. But for us, beings who have also been given reason, these things alone are not enough. The study of logic, argumentation, and questioning, though many do not realize it, is directly connected to how we live our lives. What is the goal of reasoning? To establish what is true, discard what is false, and suspend judgment on things that are unclear. It is not enough just to reason. A person must also develop the skill to examine and distinguish between truth, falsehood, and uncertainty. We must analyze how premises shift and change in questioning, answering, and forming conclusions, so that we do not get misled by faulty logic. Why do we engage in examinations? So that we don't think or argue in a confused or careless way. Am I taking away your faculties? Not at all, just as I wouldn't take away your ability to see. But if you ask me what a person's highest good is, I can say nothing other than a certain way of directing the will in response to what they experience. Never in reply to the question, to what country you belong, say that you are an Athenian or a Corinthian, but that you are a citizen of the world. For now, endure your time where you have been placed. Your stay here is brief, and for those with the right mindset, it is easy to bear. What are we responsible for? The only thing that is truly within our control, how we interpret and respond to life's events. When you're surrounded by people, don't call it a crowd or a hassle. See it as a gathering, a festival, an opportunity. Accept it with a willing spirit. Instead of complaining about what you can't control, be grateful that the gods have freed you from those concerns and made you responsible only for what is within your power. Do you not see that everything is interconnected? If our bodies and plants are so deeply tied to the universe, how much more so are our souls? The wise and virtuous person, having considered all these things, aligns their mind with the order of the universe, just as good citizens follow the laws of their city. Philosophy doesn't promise to give anyone material things. If it did, it would be overstepping its purpose. Caution may seem the opposite of confidence, but opposites do not always conflict. Use confidence when dealing with things outside your control, but where your will is involved, apply caution. Since true harm comes from how we use our will, we should reserve caution only for things within our control. Death and pain themselves are not frightening. It's our fear of them that is. So we should be confident in facing death, but cautious about fearing it. Don't be surprised that animals have all they need to survive, while humans require extra tools for survival. If you aim to keep your will aligned with nature, you have every security, every advantage, and nothing to fear. If you stay focused on what is truly yours, your will and your character, why should anything else matter? If you let external things dictate your happiness, then surrender completely, don't waver. Be either a slave to circumstances or master of yourself. What advice would I give you? Simply this: train your mind to adapt to whatever comes your way. If you focus only on what is truly yours, your will, your freedom, then what else could possibly trouble you? If wrongdoing comes from misusing the will, then fear should be reserved only for that, not for external things. Just as a foot ceases to be a foot if separated from the body, so too do you cease to be fully human if you separate yourself from others. Since you are here, your role is to say what should be said and act as you ought. A hypothetical statement is neutral. Our judgment of it, however, is not. It can be true, false, or mistaken. In the same way that crops must ripen and be harvested, death is a natural part of life. Avoiding it indefinitely would be unnatural. Are you asking about what's yours? What's truly yours is your ability to think and choose. Who can take that from you? What is the result of these beliefs? the most noble and worthy thing for a truly educated person. Peace of mind, freedom from fear, and true independence. If you see yourself as part of a greater whole, then sometimes you must endure hardship, take risks, or even die before your time, all for the sake of that whole. Remember who you are. First and foremost, you are human, and nothing is greater than your ability to choose and think. Everything else is secondary to that. You are a citizen of the universe, not a servant but a vital part of it. You have the ability to understand the divine order and see how all things are connected. What does it mean to be a true citizen? It means putting the good of the whole above personal gain, making no decision as if you were separate from others, and acting as a hand or foot would, if they had reason and understood their purpose. Then, if you are a senator, remember what it means to be a senator. If you are young, act according to your age. If you are old, fulfill the responsibilities of age. Every title carries its own duties. What does a person lose by acting dishonorably? They lose their humanity. And what does the one who corrupts them lose? Many things, but above all, they too lose their humanity. What does a coward lose? Something valuable. No one becomes bad without suffering some kind of loss or harm. This is why philosophers advise us not to stop at simply learning. We must also study deeply and put knowledge into practice. When I see someone anxious, I ask, what does this person desire? If they weren't chasing something beyond their control, how could they feel anxious? A musician playing alone has no fear, but the moment he steps onto the stage, he's nervous, even if he's talented, because he doesn't just want to play well, he wants applause. But applause isn't in his control. Why does this matter? He doesn't understand what a crowd is or why their approval is fleeting. He's mastered playing high and low notes but has never considered what public praise truly means or what power it holds. I can't say a nervous performer isn't a musician, but I can say something else, many things, in fact. First, I call him lost. I say, this person doesn't know where he is. He's been here for years but still doesn't understand the laws of the world or how things work. He wants what he has no right to and avoids what is inevitable. He doesn't understand what belongs to him and what belongs to others. If he did, he'd never feel trapped, never be anxious, never be held back. But we don't worry about truth, reason, or the health of our minds. Instead, we obsess over our fragile bodies, our possessions, and what Caesar might think of us. Are we anxious about avoiding false beliefs? No, because that's actually within our control. Be honest with yourself. Don't boast or pretend to be a philosopher. Don't deny who your true teachers are. As long as you offer yourself up to those stronger than you, you'll remain under their control. Socrates trained himself in speech. He spoke to tyrants, to juries, to his jailers. He didn't just talk about virtue, he practiced it. What makes a person truly beautiful? Isn't it the excellence of their character? Think about it. When you praise others, who do you admire? The just or the unjust? You admire the just. So if you cultivate justice within yourself, you'll become truly beautiful. But if you neglect this, no amount of effort will make you attractive. A wise person uses appearances in harmony with nature. When the good appears, it naturally draws people in. When the bad appears, it pushes them away. We must root out harmful beliefs. That's our true mission. What is grief? A belief. What is misfortune? A belief. What causes rebellion, division, blame, accusations, and deceit? Nothing but misguided opinions. If we practice challenging these false beliefs every day, from morning to night, we'd see real progress. But instead, we let them lull us into a half-conscious daze. In public, don't seek more than your share. Don't try to claim what belongs to all. If you refuse to play by these rules, then accept the consequences. People will criticize you. When you act like the crowd, you become the crowd. The wise person's true material isn't wealth or reputation. It's their own mind. What will you be doing when death surprises you? Because it will come, ready or not. I want to meet death not while tending to trivial things, but while guarding my own mind, free, unshaken, at peace. If you truly understand yourself, you'll recognize when you've shed harmful beliefs and replaced them with better ones. You'll stop focusing on what's outside your control and focus only on what is. Our goal should be to eliminate harmful beliefs. That's the true battle. If you could be doing something better when death finds you, then go do that instead. A philosopher shouldn't just talk about virtue, they should live it. Treat us like rational beings. Show us what's good, and we'll pursue it. Show us what's harmful, and we'll avoid it. We should train ourselves daily to challenge appearances, because they constantly put our beliefs to the test. Suffering comes from how we interpret things, not from the things themselves. If someone endures hardship bravely, that's not suffering, that's strength. If your beliefs are right, you'll thrive. If they're wrong, you'll suffer. Your choices come from your beliefs. If they're flawed, so will be your actions. What does it mean to bear illness well? Not to blame God or others. Not to despair. To face it with courage and dignity. A philosopher doesn't obsess over wealth, status, or even the body. They focus only on mastering their mind. Nothing is good or bad except how we choose to see it. We shouldn't try to control events. We should learn to accept them. My brother shouldn't have treated me this way. That's his concern. My only concern is how I choose to respond. When someone finds inner peace, not granted by rulers or status, but by reason and alignment with nature, why wouldn't they be content, even when alone? Get up, take action, and stop complaining. What does it mean to endure sickness well? It means not blaming God or others, not being consumed by misfortune, but facing it with strength and dignity. When you have nothing to do, you feel restless. You look for distractions, going to the theater, wandering aimlessly. Shouldn't a philosopher, instead, dedicate that time to sharpening their mind? You focus on collecting fancy glassware. I focus on mastering logic and reasoning, the real tools of life. We must always hold these two principles, that nothing is truly good or bad except how we choose to see it, and that we shouldn't try to control events, only how we respond to them. If you want to be something, then walk your own path. Speak to yourself. Don't just blend into the crowd. If you're a wrestler, examine your body, your shoulders, your thighs, your endurance. Every person is naturally built for different things. You want to compete at the Olympics? Then first consider everything that comes with it, the discipline, the sacrifice. If it's worth it to you, then commit fully. You must choose, be a philosopher, or live like everyone else. Before taking any action, Consider what leads up to it and what follows. Only then should you move forward. Think first. What are you about to do? Then think about yourself. Are you capable of handling it? What does it mean to handle hardship well? It means not blaming others, not seeing yourself as a victim, but embracing life's challenges with courage. You must focus either on mastering your own mind or chasing external things, but you can't do both. The only truly free person is the one who lives as they choose, without coercion, without fear, without outside control. Do you think it means nothing to act against your will, to be forced, to groan in frustration? Is that not the very definition of being a slave? Nature has given you everything you need to find truth. But if you can't see it yourself, then listen to those who have dedicated their lives to seeking it. Can you guarantee your body will remain whole and unharmed? No. Can you guarantee that your wealth will always be yours, on your terms? No. Can anyone force you to believe something that isn't true? No one can. Socrates refused to save his life by betraying his principles. He wouldn't flatter the people when they demanded it, wouldn't obey tyrants, and never wavered in speaking about virtue and integrity. What is really at stake? Is it whether I should secure the highest good for myself, or whether I should avoid the greatest misfortune? Once you truly understand what matters, what person could possibly intimidate you? If you aren't there yet, then escape from your old habits, escape from the crowd, if you ever hope to become something greater. Above all else, remember, never become so close with former friends that you slip back into their ways. Take my writings, and you'll see for yourself how true and aligned with nature are the things that give me peace of mind.